Hey mamas, you are listening to the Motherhood is Ghetto podcast. We all know motherhood can be a beautiful thing, but girl, it can also be ghetto. Join me as we discuss some of the best and worst parts of being a mom raising kids, all while trying to figure out this thing called life. This ghetto is a safe space, mamas. So welcome to the hood. Hey mamas, welcome back to another episode of Motherhood is Ghetto. My name is Joy, and how y'all doing out there? If y'all doing all right, you already know what to say. Say amen. I pray you are having a great day and a great week so far. And a couple things. First thing, welcome to episode 100. Yes, today is episode 100. Super excited. It only took me 4 years to get here, but we're here now. Amen. So this episode's gonna be pretty special. But first, before we do that, um, please excuse the please excuse my camera angle. I look like a very dark figure. Apologies. Like I lit it up in here as much as I could, but that's okay because that just means I need to invest in some lighting. Amen. But but yeah. So like I stated in my last episode, I told you guys that I was going to have a very special guest on for episode 100. And that guest is here today in the building. Amen. So, mamas, please give a warm, warm welcome to my mama. Amen. Some people like to call her Audrey. Some people call her Miss Audrey. But I just call her mom. So, mom, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Happy to be here.
Amazing. And then also too, don't be acting fake. Don't be acting fake because we're gonna get into some real topics here, okay? So I need you
You
to
already know.
okay. But first, let the people know who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How was raising a queen? But introduce yourself.
I'm I'm Audrey, I'm Nene, I'm Miss Audrey, I'm mom, I'm everything to everybody.
Amen. It's
Yeah.
true. It's true. So, so I wanted to bring you on today because I got questions. I got questions that I would like some answers to.
Okay.
But with the very so basically, like I just want to first. I had mentioned in the other episode that, like, I just feel like everyone's just been leaving our lives and with a lot of things left unsaid. So I don't want that to be the case between me and you. So this is gonna be really fun. This is gonna be fun. We're gonna
You
get it
promise?
absolutely.
Okay.
I don't lie.
Okay.
Amen. Um, so it's gonna be a lot of fun, and hopefully I learn some things. Hopefully you learn some things. But yeah. So
Okay.
and I
I'm
get to spend a
ready.
little time with you today. So
Absolutely. That's the best part.
yeah, because today, like I told you, I went to my gynecologist appointment.
Mhm.
Violated.
Listen.
Let's just start there. And then also too, I had to schedule my mammogram because I forgot to get my mammogram last year.
Mhm.
A lot was going on in 2025. I forgot.
Absolutely.
So, mamas, this episode is also being brought to you by mammograms and pap smears. So please make sure to get your titties checked and get that hot box checked. Amen. Because listen, we got to stay healthy for whatever may happen. Amen. Um, you know what was funny? So you know how well. When was the last time you've been to the gynecologist? Is there a certain age where you don't have to go anymore?
They're still trying to get me to go.
So why don't you go?
Because I don't.
Wow. Okay. Well, um,
Because no, seriously though, that's my choice. I know my body. I know when it's healthy and not healthy. So if I felt the need to go, like if we start getting like strange smells and weird things coming out of it, then yes, it would be time to go. But at this point in my age, mm-mm.
I mean, I feel that. Amen. Because what? Well, just know when you become sexually active, you need to go. No.
Don't go there.
Sexually active is crazy, actually.
Okay.
Sexually
So
active
I've
is
heard.
actually crazy. So, funny story about that, right? So, I'm in there and I'm talking to, like, like the little nurse that, she
Mhm.
takes your vitals and stuff like that. And so she asks you all the questions and stuff. She's like, "Are you sexually active?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Dang, for real?" I was like, "Yeah, for real." She was like, "Dang, I wouldn't have guessed that. Why not?" I'm like, "Girl, don't nobody want to give me none. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know, girl. Your guess is good as mine. I don't
It's a
know."
choice.
It is a choice.
It's a
It definitely is
choice.
a choice for
Mhm.
sure. I'm not tripping.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get started. Let's get started with our interview, Mom.
Okay.
Get some questions going.
All right.
First and foremost, there's a very pressing question that I need to ask you first, right off the rip. Um, could you please take the kids on that Friday, that the last day of school before spring break?
I'm off that day, of course.
Okay, so after school that day, can they come over here and spend that Friday, Saturday, and then I'll pick them up after work that Sunday?
And so you want, yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I just need a little time to myself.
Okay.
That I don't have anything planned or anything like that. Just wanted to spend some alone time.
Absolutely. You already knew the answer to that. You
Yeet.
just wanted to get it on record. So,
I did.
okay. I see you.
Yes, yes, I did. Wanted to get that on record.
Okay.
It's recorded. Okay. All right. So,
Hopefully, I'll have answers for you.
okay. So first off, so what was life like for you as a kid?
As a kid,
Yeah. And what kind of relationship did you have with your mom as a child?
that's a good question, Joy, because really and truly, it's about perspective.
Mhm.
So, from my perspective, I had an okay childhood. Um, not too not too traumatic, but just enough to let me know that I needed to learn things in life. So, my childhood was basically teetering on being semi-adult because I am the oldest of 3 and trying to still be a child. So, and that's a precarious position for any child. But the oldest is like, you're like the stand-in. Your mom's not there, dad's not there. It's on you. So you got to kick into that adult mode, sort of, kind of.
So like what were some things like you had to do like for your younger siblings?
I've been cooking since I was 10 years old because my mom worked. This was after my parents got divorced and everything, and she was a single mom, so she had to work, and she worked swing shift. So by the time we all got home from school, mom was already on her way to work or already at work. So if we wanted to eat, then that's how I learned how. Girl, you don't know how much flour, at least 10 pounds of flour, trying to learn how to make gravy,
Mm.
stuff like that. So that's the fun part of my childhood is that I got to experience, like I said, a lot of things that got me prepared for adult life, but experiencing as a child as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So growing up that way, like having to be like the caregiver, like and the provider for your younger siblings when your mom wasn't there, how did you Like, did that shape the way, like, that you decided to parent us? Because we spent a lot of time by ourselves too, because you guys are working a lot.
Mhm.
So, did any of the how you grew up play a part into how you raised us or not?
Um, somewhat because although I didn't put a whole lot of responsibility on Brandon, the oldest, you are in charge when I'm not there. You're the oldest.
Mm,
But if I tell Joy to wash the dishes before I get home, Joy is going to be the one to get in trouble because I give the orders. So it wasn't so much as if somebody didn't do something, then everybody got in trouble. We didn't do it that way. Everybody got their own punishment. you know,
it's true. It's
it's
true. It's facts.
except for that one time when they let the dog bite you.
I
But
was telling Genesis that story. I was telling Genesis that story the other day because I was trying to explain to her why I'm afraid of dogs.
Mhm.
And I'm telling her the story, and she's like, "Okay, and you got bit. So what?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" It's like that was she
It was
she's
traumatic.
so like nonchalant about everything.
And
Like,
see, and that's the example. If they didn't get in trouble because the dog bit you, because dogs gonna do what dogs do,
yeah.
but they ran off and left you.
Yeah.
And when they get home running, there was a dog. There was a, well, where's your sister? They're looking at each other, and I don't see my child. So,
I was fighting for my life. I was on
so
the
that,
ground getting bit down,
yeah,
okay?
well, that's why everybody got beat down because they all ran off and left you. So, but other than that, I don't feel like it's because at the end of the day, you're still a child. So children need to be children, and that's sort of how I wanted to raise my kids. Because kids do what kids do.
Yeah.
They make noise, they make a mess, they do whatever. Let them be kids.
So, I like that. That's a good segue into this next question because um we both know like the kind of relationship, adult relationship you had with Granny,
Hmm.
um, and how that all kind of played out as you became an adult and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But what were some of the challenges you faced when it came to having a healthy relationship with your mom?
I think because I knew within me that I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I've always been not necessarily a rebel, but I follow my own path. I'm not a follower. And anytime someone tries to mold me and make me into something that doesn't sit right with my soul, then there is a little, bumping of the heads. But as far as, like, for instance, right now I'm really big on the kids, especially being aware of how special they are, just being them.
Mm,
They don't have to jump through any hoops. They don't have to perform, be performative about whatever they are or whatever they do. And unless you allow that child to do that, that child's not going to ever know who they are or what they are. Or, there'll be some issues where that kid's always getting in trouble. Let that kid be that person.
mm,
So that was a challenge because, and I understand it. It's like now that I'm older and I have raised all my kids, I understand that that's the way she grew up,
mm.
you know, and like, be proud of yourself, be happy. You think you're cute. Yeah, I do actually, you know. But back in the day, you were conceited or you were arrogant or so basically the challenge was having to dumb myself down for
Mm.
to be palatable. But
Palatable.
I enjoy being the black sheep of the family. I really do.
Hello?
They love me. They love me and they hate me. So when you hate me, stay over there.
Okay, okay,
No, but it's all good. It's all good.
okay. One question, kinda like off motherhood topic. Did you have any nicknames growing up? What were your nicknames?
Just one
Which one?
cookie.
Cookie? Who was
Mhm.
calling you Cookie? Everybody?
Everybody.
What does that mean?
It's just because I always Oreos, chocolate chips,
Oh, you
whatever.
always had
I always
Cookie.
had cookies.
Okay.
So
I didn't
yeah.
know that. I didn't know that you had a nickname.
Fun fact.
That's a fun fact for sure. So, do you know what my nicknames were, like what kids called me at school?
I know they called you the quiet one and the one with all the brothers.
Well, those aren't nicknames.
No, but that's all I ever I heard you referred to as.
So, I used to have back in the 90s, you remember that cartoon Ren and Stimpy?
Mhm.
So, I remember that little song they used to sing, Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy?
Mhm.
People used to call me that all the time.
They called you that as an adult. When we worked at Sitel, people used to always say, "Happy, happy, joy."
Gross. Don't remind me of
I'm sorry.
Sitel.
I'm sorry.
Gross. Um, and people used to call me, Joy Toy.
Mm.
People used to call me Boy.
Well, now that I can understand
And
because sometimes it was hard to tell.
and then, people used to call me Joy to the World. And then that one song by Frankie Beverly and Maze, people used to sing that to me. Joy.
Well, see, all of that's good.
Yeah, so those
All of that's happy.
yeah, so those were my nicknames. Besides the boys used to call me Miss Peabody when I was
Well,
little. I know, right? They said I smelled like pee.
oh, they
Right.
lied.
I know they did.
Trust me, they lied.
They used to call me Miss Peabody and everything.
Oh.
But anyway, it's whatever. Um, cool. All right. So, what kind of kid were you in school? And who was your biggest influences growing up?
That's again a good question, but I was okay. I started out excellent, all A's and B's all the time. Not necessarily an overachiever, but that's just how it came to me. And as I got older, like middle school and high school, I realized I can do this stuff. So I by the time I got to high school, I would say maybe the 10th grade, 11th grade, it was like do whatever else you wanted to do and then show up on Fridays to take the test and ace the test and pass the class. So my last 2 years of high school was pretty much like that. But it's only because as a younger child growing up into this day, I read all the time. Books, well, you remember growing up, there books always in the house. And while my mom, like during the summertime, when we were home alone all the time, all day, my brother would go because we lived around the corner from the Coliseum sports arena when it was that before it is what it is now. And he would go over to the Coliseum or sports arena, I'm sorry, and take swimming lessons. He learned how to swim. Me and my sister, Lisa, we go to the library. And that's all we did all summer long. Any free time that we weren't out playing, if we wanted to go somewhere, there's two places we always went to the library and to the record store. And that's part of who I am today music and books, knowledge, research.
Okay. And what's so crazy is, like, people tell me at work that, like, I speak so well and, like, I'm very good at, like, public speaking, and I just know, like, the exact words to say. And they're like, "How do you do that?" I'm like, "Because my mom had books everywhere and she only bought us games that were about like words and like Scrabble and categories and crosswords and like I was like, so we knew how to talk. Like I don't know. And then I was like, my mom, when we were babies, she didn't babble to us. She talked to us like grown-ups. So we just know like how to use words. So yeah, I could attest to that for sure.
And then you also asked me who was my biggest influence. Well, as far as teachers go, any English teacher, that was my best subject, was English, because that, again, there's so much that goes into it. But then I would think, our people used to die for knowing how to read.
Mhm.
So it, like I said, I'm always the rebel. You gonna tell me I'm not gonna do something? Hold my beer.
Yeah.
So I was always in the books trying to find out things that I didn't know and I wasn't sure anybody was gonna tell me. Well, I can read. so that so it wasn't a particular person, but I would say any English teacher that I had was my best influence.
Okay. What did you wanna be when you, were little? Like, what did you wanna grow up to be?
You're not gonna believe this. What would you think I would want to grow up to be, knowing who I am as an adult?
Hmm. Mm, maybe like a historian?
No,
A civil rights activist.
no. I wanted to be a mom.
And I was gonna ask that was gonna be a later
Yes,
question. I was gonna ask if you always knew you would be a mom,
always.
always.
You know how well now they do it for animals. Those commercials you see 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning about, this dog hasn't doesn't know when its next meal is something. It's
In the
like,
arms of an angel or something like
yeah,
that, one
how
lady.
do you know what the dog knows? But anyway, when, when I was growing up, it was usually little kids from Somalia or Ethiopia or places like that. And they'd always show them eating like mush or something, and they'd always be dirty. And whereas people now, they're opening their wallets, giving money to these charities and dogs and everybody else. I just wanted to get them and give them a bath,
Yeah.
give them a burger, take them to McDonald's or something. So that I always knew I wanted to be a mother. I wanted to take care of kids like that, which is why I do what I do now, probably. But yeah.
So, how did you know you were ready to be a mom? So, take it back to when you got pregnant with Brandon. How did you know, like, you were ready?
Hmm. I wouldn't even necessarily say that I was ready. I felt ready. I felt like, with or without a husband, with or without a boyfriend, I needed that in my life at that time. I felt like, okay, I'm pregnant. I'm going to be a mom. I can do this. I got a good job. All I got to do is find some place to stay because Ann didn't play that. Yeah, yo, no, you don't bring me no babies. You can stay here as long as you want. This was the speech I got. Stay here as long as you want, long as you go to school, go to work, and don't bring me no babies. So that was my only obstacle, is actually stepping out there on my own. I felt like I was ready, but all I knew was living at home. So that was the hardest thing to adjust to is okay, now you're for real grown up.
Yeah.
You're gonna have your own address, your own bills. Plus you have a little human you're gonna have to take care of. So having a kid kind of gets you ready.
So how was it raising 4 kids?
It was it wasn't as hard as you might think because I had your dad. And let me back up. Not to say that I couldn't if I had to, but having somebody, a help partner, because he absolutely was a help partner,
Yeah.
definitely changed more diapers than I've ever changed.
Yeah.
So that made a big difference. And because they all were boys
Mhm.
until you came along, it was easier for me to just go find your daddy, go with your daddy. You want to go to football, wherever you want, go get your daddy. And that left me a lot of time, free time on my own where I wouldn't lose my mind
Yeah.
because you can imagine. Yeah.
I can imagine. So, that's also a perfect segue. So, how did you feel knowing that well, you didn't know you were having a daughter until I got here.
Right.
So, how did you feel once you had a daughter, and how was it raising me? How what kind of child was I when I was little, and how was it to raise me?
Having a daughter put a whole new perspective on go find your daddy. Because I couldn't tell my daughter that. I mean, I could, and I did lots of times. I mean, he got his fair share of togetherness time with you too. But the raising of a young girl, a young woman, that's on me. Nobody could do that better than me. So it made me it made me feel like I had a greater sense of responsibility because however this little girl turns out, it's going to be a direct reflection of what she was taught and, how to be a feminine and how to conduct yourself and stuff like that. Raising you was actually very easy. It really was because we did everything together. We spent a lot of time together. We talked about everything, and I just know that okay, my daughter is gonna if anything's wrong, she's gonna come to me and let me know. So as long as there was nothing wrong, we got along well, no problems. You weren't I can't remember but one or two times you ever got a spanking from me. I don't think your daddy ever spanked you, but yeah, you were real easy. Sort of like you are now, just mellow child. Once we got you out of the tomboy stage and out of the trees and
I'm just trying to have fun with my people.
I
I'm
hear
just trying to have fun.
I hear you. A house full of boys, the yard full of, there were really not a whole lot of girls around that you could play with. So yeah.
Was there ever a point in time when I was growing up that I disappointed you?
Hmm. That's kind of because there has been a time that I was disappointed. Okay, but not in you. Okay, no, that's not how I mean.
Yeah, I need you to,
Okay, let me
yeah.
okay, let's just put it out there. The first time you had sex.
Brother,
You
come
you brought it
on.
up. You brought it up.
Okay, 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 okay.
No, nope.
Wait, wait, wait. Whoa, 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 wait, wait, wait.
Okay.
Now, I understand the agreement that we had. I know the exact agreement that we had, and I know what we discussed.
Mhm.
But mom, come on. Like you really expected me after I got
Yes.
dick down to be like, "Mom, I just got some dick. Let's talk about it." Like you really
No,
expected that from me?
no, that's not what I expected because that wasn't the agreement.
The no, no, no. The
The
agreement was
original agreement.
the original agreement was that when I felt like I was ready to have sex, I would come to you first. So that way we could do the things, go to the doctor, all that stuff. Yes, I remember the agreement,
Not
mom.
once did I tell you not to have sex.
Correct. Yes. You never told
I
me not
never
to.
told you not to because that's a exercise in futility. So no, I never said don't, but don't just go be you know what the agreement was. So that's when I was disappointed. Once I realized that, hey, the girl is having sex. Why didn't she come to me? We talked about this. We had this agreement,
But it
but it
wasn't
wasn't being disappointed in you having sex. I knew that was going to happen one way or the other,
yeah.
but just the fact that you broke our agreement.
But the thing about it was, mom, is that like you clocked it anyway. It wasn't
I
like
knew
months
that.
went by. It was literally just
I
days. And
I
I was gonna tell
know.
you, like I had
No,
to process.
no.
What if okay, so what if the dick was bad and I was just embarrassed to tell you about it?
You
Like
don't have to tell me how it was. As a matter of fact, I prefer that you didn't. But no, that wasn't the thing. The thing of it, I needed you to be, and you will find this or have already found this. I needed you to be more prepared than I was.
yeah,
I needed you to be more aware. And we did. We talked about how feelings get involved. That's the only thing that I said. I prefer you to wait until you're more mature and can handle the feelings that are involved
yeah,
in having sex with somebody. We
yeah.
had that discussion, right?
We did.
So that was my thing. It was I wanted you to be more to have more, be better, do better than I did, just like you do for your kid, just like every parent who loves their child wants them to have a better experience in life. That's why we break our backs trying to do what we can for you guys.
Yeah, of course.
Want you to have the best. So that's the only time. And I can honestly say that because I lost my little girl then.
Oh my God.
And she didn't even tell me. I didn't even have a
I
clue.
mean, I blinked and it was over, so I kind of almost didn't know it happened either.
You
But
know, well, see, had you come to me, I would have told you it was going to be like that, and it might not get any better than that.
But I will say that, like, I definitely what we had talked about and just how I was raised, like, it really did help because I was safe, like, I didn't let anything go on that I didn't want to go on, like, I was fully aware of, like, everything that was going on from the
Mhm.
after, and then even into, as I got older, like, and became an adult and, like, when I met Jahari, like, I made sure, I don't wanna be pregnant right now, I know exactly what to do not to be pregnant,
Mhm.
so I've always been, like, very careful and cautious when it comes to that, but, um but yeah, so sorry I disappointed you.
See, that's why I never told you that because
Sorry.
that's what I want you kids, grandkids alike. Don't ever feel like you're disappointing me. If you're doing what your heart and soul tells you to do, that's what you do. I have nothing to do with that because I'm grown, you grown, kids are gonna you're gonna be who you are. So there's no point in me being disappointed because I don't have to live that life.
Fair enough. Yeah, that was a time. What's one parenting decision that you're especially proud of?
Hmm. Moving our family out of Los Angeles.
Alright.
That was, in my humble opinion, the best decision that we could have made for our family. And it was because of the fact that I was raising boys. And there was going to be times when the kids are going to be home alone, and it's just too much. It was just too much going on, too many things that were, you know, too many negatives.
Yeah.
So moving away from Los Angeles to the Inland Empire, I think, is the best decision that I could have made for our family, because I think the environment that you guys grew up in, it's always been diverse. We've never lived in an all black neighborhood, or blacks and Mexicans only,
Mhm.
or something like that. We've always lived in a multiracial atmosphere, and you got a chance to experience other people, other cultures, just discovering how we're all just people.
Yeah.
So that to me.
I would say too that that is one of my earliest childhood memories. Like, I do remember living in LA. There's some things I remember, but I also remember moving, to the IE, and I remember, Granny you and Granny decorating my room, like, I
Mhm.
remember when we went to look at the house, to go see it for the first time. I was with you guys.
Mhm.
So, I remember all that, so, yeah. And I think that I think that it's especially good to note that you had that awareness, and you had enough wherewithal to know, like, this isn't what I want to raise my sons in, my daughter, so I
Absolutely.
need to bust a move. And especially nowadays, like, a lot of parents or moms, they're like, "Well, this is what we can afford, like, we just gotta make do, and hopefully, like, my kid comes out the other side okay." But sometimes it takes, like, you have to shake it up and, like, be like, "Okay, this isn't what I want," and have that foresight. Because had you not had that foresight, life would have been so much different
It
for
would have
us.
been so much different.
And I
So
and,
much different.
and I think like that's important to that foresight as a parent is important. And to have that awareness and to like be able to and not to say I mean, we could have still grew up there and things were okay. But at this point, we'll never know because, we grew up how we grew up and it was a beautiful childhood. It was a beautiful upbringing. But a lot of parents don't have that. They don't have that foresight and they just live like right in the moment,
Right.
which in some cases, there's nothing wrong with it, but in some cases there is. Because yes, we're living in the moment and we're living in the now, but our children are our future. So if we're not thinking
Mhm.
of what a future could look like for them, like, and we're just thinking about the now, then it doesn't do them any good.
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
it doesn't put us in that mind frame to put them in situations where they could be successful or, grow to be more than where they come from.
Right.
So
Right.
so I think that that's pretty cool that y'all did that. For sure. It only took dad almost losing his life on the 405. Or
But and half of the skin off of his body. But hey,
hey,
did you die?
right, we made it. We
So
made
let's
it.
go get a house.
Yeah, we made it, amen. We get there how we get there. What's been the hardest season of your life so far? And how are you getting through it?
The hardest season of my life, up until now, I think, is when we lost your brother. I think that even though I had gone through hard seasons, the cancer, the divorce, the moving to Vegas, ending up homeless, all of those to me were lessons. And even though as devastating, as hurtful as everything it could possibly be, losing my child, I'm trying to find the good in that because up until this point, everything that has happened to me has been a lesson. So, you've lived it with me. I lost four people in what, 2 years time. So that's hard, but there's got to be a lesson in that. I got to find some good in it. So I would think that that would be the hard because it took so much to get me back to where I needed to be. I had to move, move into a different location. I had to go back to work so I wouldn't sit at home losing my mind. Stuff like that. So that was the hard part is how do I still be a mom after something like that?
Yeah. Um, I don't know what it is, but every time we talk about Jason, I get so emotional, man.
Me too. Me
I
too.
I don't know, like it's even hard for me to think about that day. Like everything was just so surreal.
Surreal. It was surreal. It's and I don't know, maybe that was the hardest part about that particular event because I couldn't express how I felt as the day, has
Mhm.
how things unfolded and me being there and watching my son die, but not knowing I'm watching him die,
Mhm.
stuff like that. So it brings a lot of emotion. But I can tell you one thing, people make fun of mama's boys. And I will
Mhm.
tell anybody, all of my boys are mama's boys, whether they want to admit it or not. Jason was a mama's boy.
Mhm.
That's like I remember the time I asked him, he asked me what I wanted for my birthday. And I told him, well, I want a new wig. I'm not buying you a wig. Well, why, Jason, you asked me what did I want? Because you have hair. you know, and but I got my wig. It's like things like that that let me know Jason's still with me. He's gonna always be with me, no matter what I ask for. I'm gonna get it. If Jason said I should have it, then I'm gonna have it. So that was hard too.
Yeah. So, what would you tell mom, or what advice would you give a mom who has lost a child?
I wouldn't because okay, let me maybe this will explain how I feel. Me and your daddy, we both lost a child. We both lost the same child. I know how much that hurt him. I know how much, but he doesn't know how much that hurt me. But it's different. Everybody has to process it different. They have to move through it differently. They experienced it differently. So it would really be naive of me to like I could sit here and tell you how you should feel about losing your husband or how my grandbabies should feel about losing their dad. that's specific to you and the relationship you've had with your child. Not everybody it doesn't affect everybody the same way. So the only thing that I would say if I were to give advice, do what's good for your soul. Do what's going to make you get better. No time limits. No, because you're never going to get over it. You just don't. So get through it the best way you can. Whatever works for you. That's all I got.
That's real. And I think a lot of people can relate to that or connect with that. Because I know when people die, like we automatically go into looking for answers and like searching for answers.
Mhm.
But sometimes it's just there's no answers. Like there's nothing that can be said. There's nothing that you can do. You just kind of have to just sit in it and let it
Mhm.
play how it's gonna play out for you. And nobody can dictate or, predict how that's gonna play out other than you. So
Yeah, like I say, you got to go through it to get through it. So feel those feelings. Whatever you're feeling, feel them. Let them they'll let you know which way to go going forward.
so is there a story about our family that hasn't been told enough?
Now, see, when you say that, I want to know what kind of story. I mean,
Like, w like, what about our family, like, isn't mentioned or said enough? Like, is it about our values? Like, is it, like how we are, like, as a family unit? Like
oh, okay. Do you mean my core family? Oh, okay, okay. The thing that is not said enough, or people don't realize enough, maybe even within us, is the actual how we show up for each other.
mhm,
How there is love in this family. I mean, sincerely, there's in everybody's family is like that. You go to Auntie so and so's house, and everybody's sitting around talking about everybody else, and this secret's over here, and we don't include these people because you know how they got here, and yada yada yada. None of that. When we get together, we enjoy being together. We enjoy our family. Our and you can't even really say that we're a close family like that, because there could be months that you might not speak well before, not so much now, but you might not speak to a sibling. There's no love lost. You get together. It's not like, well, I don't want to go there because so and so is going to be there.
mm,
Or all they're going to do is talk about this person instead of helping this person. They're gossiping. We don't do that.
yeah,
And that's people don't know. It hasn't been said enough. But really, as long as we know,
yeah. What's something that you've never said out loud, but you want me to know?
you specifically.
Yes.
That's hard, Joy, because I'm a firm believer. You feel something, you tell that, say it. Mm, I can't because you know how proud I am of you. I'm proud of everything you do. It's there's not too much that I wish that I could say or should have said or could have said that I haven't.
That's fair.
I mean, I really can't think because You know me, as soon as I think it, I might even call you on the phone. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you I'm proud of this or whatever, so I try not to leave anything unsaid. But at the end of the day, I just want my kids and my grandkids, the people I care about to know that I love them unconditionally. You can't disappoint me. So I'll just reiterate that. I'll just say that again.
Okay.
You can't disappoint me.
Okay, mama. So we are back. We had to take a long intermissions because we had technical difficulties and all that stuff. And then mama had to go, but now she's back. So we're going to wrap up this episode with a couple more questions. Okay. So one other question that I had for you, mom. Earlier, we talked about what was like one of your proudest moments being a mom. So I want to know what has been one of your biggest motherhood mistakes or a mistake that you've made being a mom. And I know there's probably a lot, but just pick one. And yeah.
My biggest mistake. Wow, that's a hard one, Joy, because like you said, there's so many. I can't think of the biggest one, not right off the top of my head. I think if because the way I look at it, like I said, this is lessons. There are no losses, only lessons. So I just know that there are things that I could have done differently, but as far as mistakes, you only can do what you know know to do. You did the best with what you knew how. So I look at everything as a lesson.
So was there like a lesson, like a lesson that you learned throughout motherhood that really stuck with you and that you carry with you throughout raising us?
Probably that it's not gonna always be, like the way you and I were always together, always tight, always, and you kind of want your kids to always feel that way about you. So my biggest lesson was letting go, letting my kids grow up, but being what I anticipated you to be. This is what the end game, is to raise happy, healthy kids and well adjusted as much as as possible, as much as that is possible, but just allowing you to just be yourself, that's the biggest lesson, and being the soft spot for you to land if in case you need me, "Hey, I'm over here." So, that's probably the biggest lesson is they're gonna grow up, you gotta let them go.
So I think that's gonna be my hardest lesson to learn because every time I think about like I know that it's gonna be time like to let the kids go at some point. But that's gonna be like a tough time for me because we've been together like since day one. And there never was a time where like I'm not with my kids. Like we're just always together. We're always doing stuff together. Even though now they're doing stuff on their own more, it's still like it's hard to think about one day like they'll leave. And then it's like, what do I do with my life? But I'm pretty confident that by that time I'll I'll know like that I've done what I could do. And they're just gonna start their lives. So um but yeah, every time I think about it, like I get emotional because I'm like, I really literally only have 6 more years until everyone is, adult. Like, Jahari will be 18 in 6 years. You know, Genesis will be 18 in 3 years, and Solomon will be 18 in 5 years. So, it's like it's starting to hit me now how like, we're like, this is it, like, this is, like, home stretch. I know they'll always need me and I'll always be mom, like, but this is, like, the home stretch, like, this is where, like, the rubber meets the road, and it's, like, all the things that I've done over the years, like, to teach them and to train them up and, help them to become first kids, then like young adults, and now they're like going into their adolescence and embarking on like adulthood, having to make adult decisions and stuff like that. Um, yeah, it's like now we see like if I was just bullshitting this whole time or if whatever I was doing was really impactful. And I hope that it is. I pray that it is. Um, but yeah, it's hitting me like I'm like, I don't know if I want this, but I do. I do at the end of the day.
Again, like I said, it's it's more of you just letting them know that, I'm always here. Like the other day when I forgot what we were talking about, and I was saying something about what Hari asked me or somebody, and you said, "Well, Mom, you can always say no." And just immediately, no, I can't. You know, that's not an option. So it's I don't want any of you, kids, grandkids, to ever feel like, oh, well, I don't want to bother Nene or mom's got a lot on her plate. And, you know, just be that no matter where they go, no matter how far they go, like I said before, even if you don't keep in touch every day, some people call their mom every day. I'm not those people. So, even though they know if I need a place, if I need a soft spot, I can always go to mom. Don't be the kind of parent that, well, I don't know if this is going to make mom upset or I can't tell mom to eat. I feel like you guys can tell me anything. You have told me anything, stuff I didn't even want to know. But that's the kind of relationship, that's the kind of bond that you need to build, and that makes it easier for you to let them go out into the world and be their own authentic selves.
I like that. I appreciate that. And that's what I try to do for them too. Um, and at the end of the day, that's all I can do, I guess.
Mm.
But so with that being said, mamas, I'm gonna go ahead and land the plane here. Mom, thank you for being on with me today. Thanks
Yes.
for spending time with me through all the takes and the technical difficulties. I appreciate you.
It was my extreme pleasure. Happy to do it. It was fun.
All right, mama. So you already know. If you're not already, please follow me on Instagram at motherhood_is ghetto. You can keep up with me and the kids there. Also, too, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, don't forget to follow the show so that way you're notified every time I upload. And then also, too, if you're listening or watching on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button, share with anyone you think would also find this podcast helpful, all that good stuff. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. 100 episode is in the books. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming on the journey with me, all that stuff. So we're going to do 100 more episodes and maybe even more than that. But yeah, I appreciate you guys so, so much. And until next time, mamas. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Don't forget to follow the podcast and share with anyone who you think may enjoy it. And follow me on Instagram at motherhood_is ghetto. Also, feel free to DM me if you have any experiences, opinions, or views on motherhood you'd like me to share on the podcast. Until next time, mamas.